I'd like to welcome you guys to this week's report. Today is Thursday, May 23rd. We have a full moon tonight, and it's also the few days away from Memorial Day weekend, which unofficially starts the summer fishing season here in Southern California, which means that the guys that only fish during the summer are probably getting the cobwebs off their boats and putting gas in them, getting ready to come out and make your life miserable by engaging in all the bad behavior we come to know offshore and inshore. Everything from the proverbial gangbangs we have on the offshore tuna grounds to guys driving through each other's chum lines along the islands and beaches. I'm sure there'll be a lot of frustration ahead this summer, so I remind you to just keep a cool head, and if boats are behaving badly around you, just go ahead and move somewhere else. You'll be happier in the long run. We've had some decent weather all week. The bad news is it's not going to be great this weekend. The forecast has been changing around a bit. I'm not 100% certain how accurate it is. I do know there's going to be some wind, but it's changed from last night to this morning, and a little bit from this morning to this afternoon. So in a nutshell, it looks like the outer islands, San Miguel, Santa Rosa, San Nic, are pretty much going to be unfishable all weekend. Santa Cruz Island, Anacapa, I don't know that I want to be on the weather side, west end of Cruz, but the backside, it's all backwards there. The lee side, which is actually the backside of the island, strangely enough, looks fishable. Anacapa looks fishable, but that channel may be not so pleasant to cross. So if you're planning to go on a sport boat up there, don't be surprised if you get stuck along the beach. And private boaters, that just pick another weekend to go. Lots of good weather along the beach, though. You can run up, fish some bass or some rockfish, whatever you want to do up there. They've been having a lot of weather up there. It's been blowing one day, calm the next, but the fish are biting right through it. Out of Santa Barbara, the Coral Sea, they've been fishing Santa Rosa Island pretty extensively and having good halibut fishing along with some nice rockfish. Pretty steady fishing for those guys when weather permits. My friend Matt Lowe took his boat up there, fished Rosa, I think over the weekend, and had some really nice halibut, all on sardines. So I didn't really see any squid up that way. I hadn't heard of any volume of it anyway, but the halibut are biting the sardines just fine. I got a lot of notes today, so you got to bear with me. Private boaters getting sea bass up there as well. I got another report from Cole, who took his skiff over, got a nice sea bass on a fluke. He said that the way it's biting over there, the skiff guys that know what they're doing can pretty consistently find biting fish or get shots in them anyway. He said he's been having pretty good success every time he's gone out. Another big sea bass news, the Aloha Spirit got a 61 pounder. Also on a fluke bait with the pad at the wheel there. And they're also fishing, they fished lingcod the other day. They did like a lingcod special trip, loaded up on big lings. Again, I remember hearing they got them on sardines as well. My friend Aaron Graham, who runs the Native Sun, got tired of drifting for halibut on his local trips here, so he went up on the Gray Light and drifted for halibut and caught a nice one. So good for him. Yeah, there's good fishing up there. There's bass. The Aloha Spirit had some nice. I think it was the Gray Light, had good calicos up there as well, biting swim baits and things like that. So spring is happening up there. The water's still cold. It's windy a lot, but get up there, you get a weather window. I'd like my chances, especially around this full moon. Heading down to San Nic and SPI. Not a lot of coverage. I know the Eldorado has been fishing San Nic when they can get up there, or fishing Clemente on a day that's too windy. It'll definitely be too windy this weekend. But they're still getting that classic nice mixed grade of rockfish, big sheephead, whitefish, stuff like that at Nic when they go. They're fishing for halibut, catch them here or there. I think some squid needs to show up out there. Maybe they'll start getting in some sea bass and halibut on those trips as well. SBI hasn't gotten a lot of coverage. I know the 3/4 boats out of Redondo, and I think some of the charter boats out of Del Rey have been fishing there lately, and they're getting mostly rockfish, but also getting some halibut and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised to see some yellows bite there, sea bass bite there around this moon. Again, the weather's not going to be great. I wouldn't chance it on a skiff this weekend, so we might have to wait a little longer. Clemente got quite a bit of coverage here recently. A bunch of my friends, Gary Reyes, Jay Jones, and Andy Wright and Matt Kim, I don't remember who all, there was I think 4 or 5 boats went over, and they did like a mothership trip with a boat called the Little G, which is a charter boat out of San Diego. And then a boat set up the island for a couple days, and they just side-tied their skiffs to it overnight. Got the fish 2 days to the island, reported good calico bass fishing. Looked like a lot of fun. They partied up on the mothership overnight and didn't have to run home at the end of the first day, which would make for a nice little trip there. Oh, the Thunderbird is getting out of the yard finally after their 19 months of work, and I'm sure that Jeff Marklin's gonna be really happy it's to be windy when he gets out of the dock there. You know, speaking of wind, Clemente looks sport boat fishable. I don't know that it's gonna be that great. Looks like 15 knots, pretty steady. If that goes down a few knots or goes up a few knots, it's going to make a huge difference in how fishable that whole thing's going to be, or how miserable anybody on a boat out there is going to be. The Blackfish has been fishing Clemente a lot. I had 2 friends go on there this week, James Sloan and his son, and I think another buddy of his went out. They had some nice halibut and rockfish. I know they're getting some yellows on the front side of the Islander as well. And then some friends of mine from the Balboa Angling Club went out a couple days ago, and they said that they had good calico and whitefish. They had rockfish, halibut, hooked a couple of yellows but lost them. One broke off almost due to my friend poorly tying a hook, which we've all done now and then. But yeah, the Fury out of Dana Point's running out there on trips, and they're getting some halibut. You know, there's mostly guys fishing the front side for the game fish, and then going around the back fishing rockfish or things like that. But I don't know. I wouldn't go out there this weekend if you're a skiff guy. Yeah, I'll be honest. If you're a sport boat guy, I wouldn't go out there this weekend either. The chances are too high that it's just gonna be a little too windy, unless something changes dramatically. So in a cat. Started to have some better fishing there as well. I ran into Benny Florentino at the lawn trip on Saturday, and he said that fishing was really good on the front side of Cat. All the kelp beds that had current on them had the bass up biting on the leading edges. 5- and 7-inch swim baits. Pretty consistent fishing. I think he had over 40 fish, so good for him, and good for the island to be biting. Sport boats are doing well over there as well. The Gale Forest fished earlier this week. They had calico bass. They had a yellow, maybe 1 or 2 yellows. Yellows are smaller. Benny caught yellows as well. But, you know, just that good spring fishing. It looks like the same size yellows were Clemente and Cat. Might be a good sign of things to come, or it might just be a coincidence. Sea bass, not a lot happening over at Cat. The Tuna Club had a big tournament over the weekend with their antique tackle and linden line and stuff like that. My friend Rob Webster on the Magellan, one of his guys got a nice sized fish. They got second place. I think there was like 2 or 3 caught for the whole thing. Cat Saturday does not look fishable on a skiff. It may be fishable on a sport boat, but windy. Sunday it looks fishable on whatever you're on, but if you're gonna go Sunday, I'd watch the weather between Cat and the mainland on Saturday, so you'll know what kind of conditions you have making that crossing. Yeah, heading into the beach. Like I said, I fished Tuesday. It sucked. Water was like 57, 58 degrees of PV. I didn't even realize that until I got up there. And we launched. We got out of the jetties at 2:15 and we were back in them at 4 o'clock. We're just like, yeah. I caught one bass on a 7-inch weedless swim bait at Point Furman, and Matt had a little spot him chase his crankbait, and that was all we saw. Very short trip. Just I fished PB enough to know when it looks like it's not biting, and it definitely was not biting. I did get a message today though from Zach Stafford, who fished there today, and he said when you can find clean water with current, the bass were biting on the leading edge of it, and he did pretty good. And he had his big fish was 24 inches. He didn't have a scale on the boat, but 24-inch fish is probably at least 6 or 7 pounds, good sized fish. And give me a little bit of hope that might rebound and actually bite a little bit. But yeah, Tuesday was a not the day for it. Still some halibut around. Carlos caught a nice one. So I met his family at the PCS show, and they have a Instagram page called SoCal Fishing Tales, Tales, and real friendly people, and they fish a lot. If you want to follow them on Instagram, something fun to look at. There's some sea bass around still. Sorry, I have so many notes today. It's just hard for me to find. I saw Jeremy Sickles fished local and got a nice sea bass on a pearl swim bait. Seems like those local fish for the guys like bass fishing. We get them on crankbaits. We hooked them on a slug. We hooked them on knife jigs, swim baits. It's more of a right place, right time thing than it is trying to actively, find something that the sea bass is going to eat. They usually just swim around there with their mouth open when they're biting and eat whatever it is that comes their way. Yeah, that big one Jimmy got a few years ago, they ate his crankbait like 5 feet from the rod tip. So yeah, it's not they're not too picky. The dedicated sea bass guys got some fish earlier in the week, but they kind of dried up a bit. I talked to Christian from Seeking Sport Fishing, and he fished sea bass along the beach and did not catch any, but his client got an absolute giant yellowtail. They didn't have a scale on the boat. Definitely a 40-pound plus fish, maybe closer to 50. Nice to see those things mixed in. There's a surprising amount of those big yellowtail that just show up now and then along the beach. I've seen them multiple times. I've never hooked one. My biggest local fish is like 36 pounds, but I've seen fish 40, 50 pounds cruising the kelp line, full on baits and stuff like that over the years. It's not an everyday thing, but they're definitely around. Yeah, heading down to San Diego. The yellows are still biting a little bit down there on the beach. I saw the new Seaforth got one the other day on the jig again. They're also catching a lot of nice calico bass, stuff like that. It's just, standard spring fishing. If those yellows are around, there's be birds and stuff on them. Pretty typical dynamic down there. You see bird schools and you see the right kind of birds. You don't just see pelicans and cormorants and all the other garbage. You want to see areas where that might be around, but you want to see areas that there's maybe some terns looking, or a couple gulls and some terns, really locked in on stuff as opposed to just diving into the water. That's your best bet for looking for those yellows. Same thing at the Coronados. If there's a lot of bait down there, a lot of birds. Ryan Booger from the San Diego, he termed it best. He said that these areas with the dirty bird schools, which has everything, pelicans, cormorants, seagulls, common pigeons, crows, whatever, they're usually not that great. So you want to find the ones that are just seagulls or just terns. I actually prefer the brown seagulls over the white ones in those situations, but it's depending on the situation. I talked about this in the past, but when you're looking offshore or for yellowtail or anything like that, as far as birds go, I don't trust seagulls that much. They're just as happy eating French fries off the ground in the McDonald's parking lot as they are finding tuna. So something to keep in mind. Also, cormorants, they're good for bass fishing because it shows that there's bait around, but they're not going to show you anything offshore that's worth a darn, because they're not chasing the same stuff those fish are chasing. Anyway, yeah, so at the Coronados, Lucky Bee Sport Fishing was down there a few times, and they had some really nice grade yellowtail. That's Captain Brandon Nelson's boat. If you're looking for a center console charter boat that fishes the Coronados, things like that, it's hard to beat that boat. It's fast, real knowledgeable captain, just a nice guy, good operation all over. So offshore, the San Diego and the Liberty, they went offshore looking for tuna last week, and they found a lot of big bonita, and they marked tuna that did not bite. And I don't know what they've done since then, but there is fish in one-day range, but I don't think they're going to look for it this weekend because the weather, again, so basically all along the coast, the weather's fine. When I say all along the coast, within 5 miles of the beach, everything looks great, 10 miles of the beach. Once you get outside, it's a different story. It's going to be windy offshore. So Mexican waters, U.S. waters, whatever, it's going to be windy. So it's not going to be great. And I'm sure it's going to be fine for the sport boats, but if you're a private boat, I'd wait another week. That being said, the bite's still happening down in Mexican waters. What's nice to see is they're not just catching them at night anymore, they're catching them during the day. Most of the bigger fish are coming on, flying fish on a kite. But there are some bait stops for boats on the smaller grade fish that are biting as well. So that bodes well for that stuff sliding into full day range. Now we have something to target with sardines and stuff or lighter jigs. The night bite's still happening. It's not a guaranteed thing. It's some boats that are getting the big ones, some boats are getting smaller ones, some are getting a bunch, some are getting a few. One of the best scores I saw was this week was the Highliner. They had 18 fish from 130 to 240 in one night of fishing, which is a really nice grade of fish. And you got fish that size, you're fighting them for a while, so it's not like they're going through them real quick. And again, I wouldn't go this weekend, but if you're already on a trip and they don't cancel it, go. Just pack your Dramamine or scopolamine or whatever it is. Those boats are just be rolling around at night trying to fish jigs and stuff. I'm not trying to say it's not going to be good fishing. I'm just going to say it's pack some foul weather gear. Finally, down in Ensenada, they're back on those bluefin. So that fish is along the beach. They're fishing with pongas, the boats that have Punta Banda, and then it's not right on the beach, but they're not running 70 miles out to try and catch things. So there's a sign of those fish down there. They've been hit and miss down in that zone for a while. Hopefully they slide up a bit more. We get some decent weather. Get a few boats down that way looking. I won't be surprised if we start seeing some fish. And bluefin, like every other tuna, are known to move on the full moon regardless of weather. So by the time boats get back on them, these things might be up in U.S. waters or close enough for the full day boats to go get them. But if you want to fish local, probably be a fun weekend to do it. And if you want to go offshore or go to the outer islands, I'd wait till next week and just stay home and barbecue for Memorial Day. But that's about it. Good luck if you fish this weekend.